From the White House, while the president said it wouldn't be appropriate to comment on Donald Trump's appointments, the incoming president already faces a firestorm of criticism for picking Steve Bannon as his chief strategist and senior counsel. Our political reporter, Sarah Murray, is keeping track of the reaction, the criticism, Sarah, coming in from Democrats and even some Republicans. What's the latest?
That's right, Wolf. Even though Donald Trump's choice of Reince Priebus as his chief of staff has left some establishment Republicans feeling pretty pleased, there's plenty of concern about the fact that Reince Priebus and Steve Bannon were billed as equal partners in their high-profile roles in an upcoming Trump White House, and has some worry that some of the dog whistles we've seen from the Trump campaign could turn into the kind of policies that negatively impact minorities in a White House. Donald Trump is already sparking outrage as he builds a White House team with an alt-right edge.
Our work on this movement is now really just beginning.
The president-elect naming Stephen Bannon, campaign CEO and executive chairman of Breitbart News, as his chief strategist and senior counselor, and tapping Republican National Committee chairman Reince Priebus as his chief of staff. As Priebus argues Trump wants to be president for all,
it's really important that all Americans understand that he is a president for everyone. He wants to make everyone proud, whatever your race, ethnic background, gender, anything.
The Bannon hire instantly drew criticism from hate watch groups who've noted Bannon's embrace of the alt-right movement, made up of conservatives, populists, white supremacists, and anti-Semites. The Southern Poverty Law Center saying Trump should rescind this hire. The Anti-Defamation League voicing its opposition to Bannon because he and his alt-right are so hostile to core American values. And House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi saying there must be no sugarcoating the reality that a white nationalist has been named chief strategist for the Trump administration. In a move that could further fuel concern, Alex Jones, operator of the InfoWars website, says Trump called to offer his gratitude.
5 minutes. He said, listen, Alex, I just talked to the kings and queens of the world leaders, you name it. But he said, it doesn't matter. I wanted to talk to you to thank your audience, and I'll be on the next few weeks to thank them.
Jones' site is known for pushing many conspiracy theories, including the notion that Sandy Hook, the shooting that left 20 children dead, was a hoax, and that 9/11 was an inside job. The moves could further embolden people who have been harassing Jews, Latinos, and Muslims in Trump's name. Actions of bigotry that the president-elect condemned in an interview with 60 Minutes.
I am so saddened to hear that, and I say stop it if it helps. I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
All of this as Trump begins to flesh out his presidential priorities, saying he'll focus on deporting 2 to 3 million undocumented immigrants who he says have criminal records, but offering little clarity for the millions of other immigrants here illegally.
After the border is secured and after everything gets normalized, we're going to make a determination on the people that you're talking about, who are terrific people.
Trump also giving little inclination he plans to take up a fight against gay marriage in the wake of the Supreme Court's ruling.
It's irrelevant because it was already settled. It's law. It was settled in the Supreme Court. I mean, it's done.
But suggesting he could still try to curtail abortion rights by appointing justices to overturn Roe v. Wade and leaving further decisions to the states. Now, some of Donald Trump's top aides, as well as his family members, have spent much of the day here in Trump Tower. The next big thing for Donald Trump will, of course, be narrowing down who he wants to appoint to top cabinet positions. That's still an open question, and many people in the transition admit they are still playing a little bit of catch-up because Donald Trump didn't want to engage in this as he was still finishing up his presidential campaign. And, of course, last week, going into Monday, going into Tuesday, they still very much felt like Donald Trump would not end up being the president-elect. So while we could have clarity in the coming days, there are still a lot of open questions about what exactly a Donald Trump cabinet and a Donald Trump White House are going to look like. Wolf?
I suspect we'll know sooner rather than later. Sarah, thanks very much. Sarah Murray in New York for us. Joining us now